Hi, hello, and welcome to another beautiful class here with me. I'm Helga, your instructor, and today is quite a beautiful and special class. We're going to be doing Yin Yoga for 45 minutes. Yin Yoga is a restorative type of yoga where we sit and lay down and hold poses for a minute or two to really relax and stretch the tissue and the fascia in the body. So it's quite a good practice, and it's an act of self-love, really. So take a minute to set your yoga mat, get your comfy, stretchy clothes. For this class, you might want to wear nice big socks, or maybe have a blanket or a fleece near you. And maybe a water or a tea. And we'll be starting in a seated position when you're ready. So taking a moment to arrive today in class, practicing from home together, sitting quite upright, finding a bit of stillness in the body. And focusing our awareness on the breath. As we inhale, the belly comes out as a balloon, and as we exhale, draws back in. So in your own time, do a few of these breaths. Inhale, belly out, and exhale, belly draws back in. Breathing nicely and deeply into the body. Very nice. Now drop your head, drop the right ear to right shoulder and stretch your opposite arm. Head back to center and drop your ear to left shoulder and stretch the opposite arm here as well. Once more, drop the ear on right shoulder and stretch opposite arm. And drop head over to your left and stretch arm. Very nice, back to center. Now taking the shoulders into small circular movements to start to wake up the upper body a little bit. Small, slow movements. You're welcome to have a very soft face and almost close your eyes if that feels good. And now switch to the circle, still doing circular motions with the shoulders, but just switching the direction. Very nice, and back to neutral. Right palm of hand is on the mat, and we extend the left arm overhead, look up, and breathe into the side of your body here. Place your hand back down and take the right arm, this time overhead. Look up and breathe into the full side of body. Hand comes back down. And place your left hand on right knee and twist. Look behind you. And don't hold the breath, just breathe freely. And right hand comes on left knee and twist. Look behind you. And we're not twisting from the neck, we're twisting from the core, from the belly, waist area. And back to center. Beautiful. So we'll be starting our practice now, and the first pose that we're going to be holding is child's pose. Okay, so setting up for our child's pose. By the way, you're very welcome to use yoga bricks if you have, or just take a pillow from your couch or from your bed, or just use your hands, but I'll go through that with you. So come into tabletop and take your knees out wide. Your big toes can touch or be just quite close together. And then what you do is that you just come and sit on the heels, okay? And then forehead comes down, and that's where you can either put your hands under as a pillow or use a yoga brick or a pillow. I'm gonna use my hands, so just place your hands on top of each other as a pillow, and then head drops down. And just take a second here to readjust. If anything feels a little bit too intense, especially in the lower back, then you can always put your knees just slightly back together. So the wider the knees, the more intense the stretch in the hips. And if you feel like a bit of a sharp sensation in the lower back, then I would advise for you to put your knees closer together. But if you are fine as you are, stay like this. And readjust your hands or your support if you have a pillow, and then once you're comfy, we are not moving anymore. So as we start in this first pose, child's pose, we're really inviting the body to let go of any tension. We're all the same. We tend to sort of have the body a little bit tense, and it's like we're holding the shape in a certain way, where really we should be letting go fully, just letting the full weight of the body melt into the mat. So let go of your need to control how your body is, and try to ease into this pose and really let go and soften. So that can start by softening perhaps the face. Really softening the forehead, softening the mouth and the jaw. Let your teeth and tongue be quite loose. So let your full head be really kind of heavy and just drop and sink into the mat or into your hands or pillow, without the need of trying to hold it up or hold it together. Just let go a little bit here. And same goes for the neck. You want your neck to be nice and easy and relaxed. Shoulders are relaxed. Your back, middle and lower are relaxed as well. Now I'm going to invite you to take a full breath and then sigh out. So let's go. Full inhale and sigh out through mouth. Very nice. Now place your attention on the lower back area and your hips, your thighs, your legs. And really try to let that go, to let that part of your body melt. Stop trying to control it.
can that part of your body be soft? And we will be getting out of this pose now just in a moment, so enjoy the last seconds. Very gently, just bring yourself back into tabletop. Very gently. Push yourself up with your hands. And just slowly, slowly, breathing into body, come back into tabletop just for a second. All right. Now sit back onto your heels and walk your hands over to the right side of your mat for a side stretch here. Breathing into the side of the body that is stretching, really dropping the head. And then just very slowly with your fingertips, walk yourself to the middle of the mat here, just the hands. And then walk the hands all the way over to the left side of the mat and fold into that stretch. Letting your whole body be relaxed, at ease. Beautiful, and breathing into the body. Walking your hands back to the middle of the mat. Coming back into tabletop. Nice. Now preparing for puppy pose. So that one is quite similar to child's pose, but we're not sitting on the heels, the buttocks stay up, but we fold with the forehead onto mat and arms can extend. Just ease into this is quite a big stretch. And you're fine as you are here, or if you feel like going deeper today, instead of your forehead coming on the mat, you can try the tip of your nose or even the chin, but just be careful because that's quite intense. You can always give it a little try, so I'm going to try the nose. Oh yeah, that's quite enough for me. That's quite a nice juicy stretch, but I am going to do it with the nose. So just feel free to take a moment, see if you want to do this with forehead or nose. And we're staying here just for a few seconds. If you're doing it with the nose but it becomes too intense, of course, feel free to come back to just forehead. Really breathing into the heart space here. Creating space, really supporting yourself with the breath in this stretch that is quite juicy and big and intense. So perhaps breathing through the mouth here rather than the nose. And a few final breaths in puppy pose today. Now very, very gently just start by walking your fingertips closer to your head, and in that way bringing yourself back up to tabletop. Very nice. So for our next move here, we're going to be doing some cat-cows, very, very slow and gentle. So setting up tabletop, hands are tucked underneath your shoulders and knees under hips. And then just with a lot of love and grace, we're gonna arch the back, slide the shoulders back, look up and inhale into the body. And then exhale, round your back and drop your head. You're almost like an ocean wave here. Coming back and forth, up and down, and do this in your own time, but one breath, one movement. So always inhaling as you arch back and look up, and exhale as you round your back and drop the head. Really visualizing yourself as the ocean here in our cat-cows. Letting your spine move freely. Crushing waves as you inhale and exhale. Beautiful. And coming back slowly to central, neutral position here in tabletop. Very nice. Now we're removing the spine, and this time I want you to focus your attention on your hips and lower back. We're going to be moving those hips in a figure of 8. So as if you'd be drawing the digit 8, right? So imagine you're holding a pencil between your thighs and you're just drawing that number 8 on your mat. Over and over again, a few times. And as you do this, the palms of your hands are flat on the mat, fingers are spread. And coming back into tabletop eventually, and we'll continue our sequence. So our next pose is pigeon pose. So come into tabletop, and then bring your right knee close to your right forearm or wrist, and then just very gently place your foot in such a way that your ankle here is relatively close to your left forearm. And then just place your back foot a little bit further back here. Just take a really good moment to set up this pose. Ideally, we want the hips to be square, but that's not always the case, but that's where we aim. And just, as I said, take a moment to set this up. You'll feel where, you sort of found your sweet spot and don't want to be doing it too intensively, especially if it's the first time that you're doing pigeon pose. So once we're set, just come a bit more down if you can. You're welcome to stay like this. This is option number 1. Option number 2 would be to come down here with the forearms. Option number 3, place the forehead either on the mat or on the hands. So the hands can be flat, that's obviously a deeper stretch, or you can interlace them and then you have your knuckles like this and the forehead comes on top. So as I said, take a moment to set this up. We're going to be staying here for a minute or 2. Once you have found your position in pigeon pose, stay in stillness, and I'll be talking you through this. So first of all, take a nice deep breath into your whole body, and particularly into your hip that is stretching right now, the right thigh and hip area. This is quite an intense stretch, pigeon pose, and with time, if you practice this pose, the longer you hold it, the better. And this is quite an emotional release as well. We tend to store quite a bit of emotions in this part of the body. So if we do this, if we engage in this shape and we hold it for some time and really breathe through it, there's a lot of healing that can happen here on the mat. So allow a little bit of time and space for that today. You shouldn't be feeling any sharp pain. If you're extremely uncomfortable, of course, just come up a little bit and readjust yourself. But if you're okay, if you're just obviously feeling the stretch, then just try to stay with it and the breath will support you. So let's breathe together here for a few rounds. Inhaling through nose and exhaling through mouth. One more together. Beautiful. Now very carefully just come up with your head first, then hands and fingers, and push your torso up. And then just come sit on your right side and slide your back leg to the front. Sit yourself upright, and then we're folding over here, and the hands can land wherever. You can grab your toes or grab hold of your foot here, or just place the hands on the mat, whatever is good. I'm going to choose the option today of just grabbing my toes. That feels quite good. Just relaxing the upper body and the neck especially, not holding any tension here. And focus your attention more on your leg that is stretching, on your hamstring. Just letting that part of your body stretch today, not trying to fidget or move or get out of this shape, but rather allowing a little bit of time for this stretch. Should feel quite lovely actually. I always like these forward folds. Very nice, and releasing. Coming back to tabletop in your own time, and we're going to be doing the pigeon on the other side. So just earlier we were doing the right leg, so this time I want you to slide your left leg to the front and just do the same setup as you did. Taking some time to first place the front foot here, then walk your back leg perhaps a little bit further back down. And once you've sort of found your sweet spot here, you feel that this is the furthest you can go today, because we don't want to overdo it either. Remember, we're holding the shape for a little while. And then inviting you to either stay here, that's perfectly good, or coming down. And sometimes you'll notice that one side is completely different. I, for example, feel quite stiff here, so I'm not even gonna put my head down. That just feels like a little bit too much right now. So I'm just staying like this. Always listen to your body, you know, and sometimes we have different things available to us on different days. Once you found your shape, we're holding this shape now for a moment. So starting to tune into the breath. Softening your mouth. Allow a little bit of space between your lips and teeth and tongue. Allowing ease and space also in the shoulders and neck. And imagine if I was here in the room with you and I would be very gently placing the palms of my hands on your lower back. Just for a little bit of support, an extra gentle push down towards the floor. So imagine that you'd be breathing as I was giving that support with the hands on the lower back. So your lower back rises slightly up into the hands, but at the same time grounds even more and folds into the mat. So we're finding this beautiful space, right, between the tension and the ease, letting our body fold over and at the same time supporting ourselves. Just finding that sweet spot in between, where you're aware when you're in an active pose, but at the same time you're letting go and you're trusting and just being very passive as well. Not controlling the body too much. Now breathing quite fully here into body. So inhale through nose and exhale through mouth. Let's do a few rounds together. One more. Beautiful. Now just very slowly and with care bring yourself back up. Head comes first, then hands, then torso. And then just sitting onto the left side here and sliding the right foot to the front, extended. And let's come and fold over it. Beautiful. So wherever your hands land today, here on this side, I'm just going to place my hand on the mat, sort of under the foot. That feels quite good. And then just fold over to stretch that leg. And it's important that we flex the toes. So flex your foot towards you. So it's an active stretch. Very nice. Now we're going to come onto our back actually for the next pose. So coming on the back, taking the knees to chest and just rock a little bit here, side to side. Very nice. Now releasing and placing the feet flat on the mat. And we're going to be coming into bridge or supported bridge. So Just check that you can sort of touch your heels with the tips of your fingers. Feet are a little bit apart, not too much. And so we start by pushing first down from the heels, and then the buttocks and lower back come up, middle back, and eventually coming all the way up. Maybe you wanna have your shoulder blades quite active and readjust here the upper body, and maybe your feet wanna come slightly closer as well. So we can stay either in this bridge pose, or if you have a yoga brick, you're welcome to do the supported version, which is quite an intense and great stretch. So you just place that yoga brick under here and let your body really melt over. So if you have the yoga brick, you do that, and if you don't, just the normal bridge as such. We're going to be holding the bridge or supported bridge for a moment. And our focus and intention here is to really send the hips very high up. And the thighs and knees are quite close together, not touching, but quite close together. Really active. Squeezing the butt, thighs, and sending your body into that upward motion here. Not sinking down toward the mat, but always sending the pubic bones up. You're doing so well. This is really great for your body. This is great for your digestion, for the back, for the legs, everything here. It's really helping the body to come alive. And as you practice, you might really enjoy engaging in this pose and just hold it longer and longer each time. Keeping those hips nice and up, we're almost done. Beautiful, and now with a lot of control, very slowly, vertebra by vertebra, we're coming down slowly, so upper back first. Very slowly, then middle back, lower back touches the mats. Very nice. Now taking your knees out and just resting those knees, really letting them fold. And it might feel quite nice to have your hands just slightly under your buttocks here to support. Soles of feet are touching. And now we're sort of focusing more on the shoulder blades and the upper back touching the mat, as well as the lower back. The sole of feet and your hips that are open. The back of your head is sinking into the mat. And you're looking up at the ceiling. The area that is opening up and getting a lot of benefit from this pose are your hips. But also want to invite you to really relax your stomach. We tend to always, want to look good and sort of, draw our stomach in when we're, in society and outside speaking with people, and it's such a healing practice to just really let that belly and stomach area be loose. And by now you might start to feel how a lot of good energy is sort of running through your body as we've been practicing for quite a little time now here in this yoga class. So if you just observe the aliveness that you might perhaps feel in your body and find a bit of gratitude and excitement for that. Because our bodies are so magical and full of life, and they're just really waiting for us to engage with them. Now breathing quite fully into the body and feeling how that breath draws your body up. And as you exhale, you sink into the mat again. Let's do one together. Very nice. Now coming into supine twist, so just bring your knees close together again and extend your legs flat on the mat. Very nice. Now take hold of your right knee and then twist it over to your left. Hand is on top of knee for support, and then look over to your right. Bit of a side stretch here. Neck release. Hips. I'm really trying to relax the whole body here from head to toe. Gently coming back to the center and doing the same on the other side. So grabbing your left knee to chest and then roll it over and look over to your left side. And it really doesn't matter how your body looks right now, if your knees going to the floor. It really is about how you feel inside your body. That's the secret and the beauty of yoga. It's the space that you get to create within each time you practice. And then gently just coming back to center for our next pose. You can extend your legs and just relax here for a second before we do the next shape. So now from being on your back, you're just going to roll over to your belly and come into Sphinx pose. That is the most beautiful, gentlest back bend that you can do, but it is a great back bend. So we've been doing a lot of hip opening here, and I think that's a beautiful way of ending the class in our last active pose before our Shavasana, the relaxation time. So as you can see, Sphinx here, you are on the belly coming up, having the forearms flat and palms of hands flat on the mat to support you. Just looking ever so slightly in front of you or even a little bit more down so the neck is not too active here. And we're kind of pushing the pubic bones into the mat. Your knees are touching mat. On top of your feet, the front.
you can practice looking up a little bit more, pushing the hips and pubic bones into mat. And then if that's too intense, just look back down onto your mat or just in front of you. And the palms of the hands are fully even and touching the mat. They're flat and the fingers are spread wide. Breathing down to the belly and pubic bones. And eventually come down. Place your forehead on the mat and arms come alongside you, palms, or not the palms, actually the front of the hands touching the mat. And then place your right cheek for our relaxation. So right cheek is on the mat. If this doesn't feel good here by the chest area, you can always have your hands just under the chest if that feels good. Or have the arms alongside your body, you decide. And now turning the head and placing the left cheek on the mat. And I'm going to ask you to just even 1% or 2% ease your body. Can you be just slightly more comfortable? Can you release a little bit of the grip that you're holding, even if it's just 1%? Letting the body really melt over as the earth, the gravity really holds you here. And coming up with the head, the torso, and with the help of your forearms, just slide yourself back onto your back for our Shavasana relaxing pose today. So the feet come wide apart, arms are alongside your body, palms facing up. Closing the eyes here. Finding a lot of joy and gratitude for yourself today for having done this yin yoga class from home. You are a beautiful human being and you can actually do so much more than you think you can. And you can also be a lot of things. You don't have to feel stuck in your day-to-day or in your responsibilities or your fears and insecurities. You can decide right here, right now to just really let yourself shine and indulge in everything that you are. When we take away the stress and the mental chatter and the thoughts that aren't really that useful, and we create space in the body and in the mind, we kind of discover that we have this strength and beauty and inner stillness all along within us. And then the world becomes our oyster, our playground, our magic canvas, where we can just really create from a place of abundance and grace. So I'll leave you with that today, and you can stay in this relaxation pose for as long as you need. And when you're ready to come up, just very gently bring yourself back up into a seated position on your mat.